it's very personal because it depends on your taste for colors and your style and what you're trying to achieve. I guess, you have to work with 3 different things, which is hue, saturation, and luminance. And these are the 3 things that are most important when editing with color. I think when I'm editing, what I'm looking for is for color balance. So for example, if I'm shooting a green landscape, and then I have a small spot of red wildflowers, I want to have the same importance to the red that to the green. And so I have to bring down the green and bring up the red so they have the same balance between each other. So it's really important to think about color harmony, what colors go well with each other, and color schemes. What mood or tone are you trying to give to the picture? Is it a happy picture? Is it a moody picture? Is it something a little bit more dark or more bright? And that's what you work with normally. For photography, something that's important when you're starting out and throughout the whole experience you have with it. The first thing is that you need to see a lot of good work to be able to recognize what you like and what you don't like and try to incorporate it. So visit a lot of art exhibitions, for example. And also you need to practice a lot. Every time you can, you need to practice photography. That's true for all of the arts. You can have talent, but it won't get you anywhere if you're not practicing and doing the work. And when you're outside in the streets, for me, what I look for is an interplay between light and shadow. So I like to shoot with a lot of sunlight, so the colors are very strong and present. If I'm shooting on an overcast day, the colors will be more toned down and more desaturated. So it really depends on what you're looking for, but remember to explore different angles, different perspectives of the same image. So if you like a scene, don't just take a picture and go away. Explore it a little bit. Spend some time with it. Go to the left, go to the right, go to the bottom. Try and take up maybe something that makes you spend time with the place you're shooting. Yeah, I like very straight and front-forwarding perspectives, so I don't really go too close to the building and take from down up. I normally try to get a little bit of distance so I'm able to catch the vertical lines vertical and not diagonally. Yeah, but this is of course a matter of taste again. If I can get some symmetric and asymmetric shots of the same building, that's something I really like as well. And yeah, normally I like to wait for something to happen, maybe someone or a car or an object is there or can pass by, so I like to wait a little bit and just wait for the right timing to take the picture. The same for a long time, but it's mostly trying to discover the color of a city. So when I'm visiting a new place, I try to discover what its color palette is. What colors can the city register in my brain, in my memory, that I can then pass throughout the photography. I mean, everyone is super kind all the time. They always thank me for exhibiting in Seoul and having my first solo exhibition here. And then they are very supportive of my work. Maybe something I could mention is a lady that came from 2.5 hours away to visit the exhibition, just for the exhibition, and then after it she was going back home. So I think that's very special that someone is willing to, spend almost 3 hours traveling to see my exhibition. Is very touching and it just makes my heart warm. My favorite works in the exhibition, I think now that I'm seeing it, I think the works from home, from Portugal, are very special. And that's kind of weird because normally I feel like my work brings out its best when I'm traveling. But now that I'm seeing it here all together, I kind of like the home ones. Yeah, I think in this exhibition, the home section is kind of my favorite so far. I've recently changed to a medium format camera, which has a lot of detail. It's a Fuji GFX 50S. That's the name of the camera. And then I use a zoom lens that's a 32-64, which is the full frame equivalent of a 24-50. So it's a versatile camera that lets me take pictures out in the street, but also for landscape, and it's not very wide and it's not very closed. So it's kind of, for me, the perfect dynamic range for street photography. I think it's relatively easy if you don't think too much about it. The phone is a great tool because you don't have to think about settings, you just focus on the composition. One of the things that's kind of important for me is to have the grid view turned on so I can see the vertical lines and the horizontal lines need to be straight as much as possible. And then it's just a matter of focusing on the composition. You don't have to focus on the exposure settings or anything else. So it's really, if you can learn about composition techniques, that will help you to just explore different ways of taking the same picture. I want to go to a lot of places. I want to go to Mexico, I want to go to Cuba, I want to go to Japan, India. For now, that's the list. I wanted to come to Korea, but now I'm here, so I've checked that off the list. Inspiration comes from a lot of different places. It comes from painting, it comes from cinema. It can be something that happens in your daily life. It can come from social media. When you're scrolling, there's an image that catches your attention, either because of the color palette or the composition or the subject, something that attracts you to it. I think inspiration can be found literally anywhere. So it's just a matter of seeing what works for you. For me personally, painting and cinema are my biggest influences. Yeah, you always want to challenge yourself and take your work forward. Something I'd like to explore, not sure how I'm going to do it or when, but because I work with such a soft and very light color palette, I kind of want to bring some tension of subject, so something that may not fit with the color palette, but explore it that way. But I'm still a little bit unsure when or how that will happen.